Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to Nerd Safari. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about my own pet peeves in a series called Zoology Nerds. So today I'm going to share with you some of my top 4 pet peeves regarding animals in the movies. So, my first pet peeve is smashed fish tanks. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but you wouldn't believe how anxious I got when I first watched that very first Mission Impossible movie. They've got a storefront. The entire front window of this restaurant is a huge fish tank full of fish. And at some point in the movie, you just know that someone's going through that tank. And that's exactly what happened. Someone went flying through that huge fish tank. All the water just gushed right out into the street. There were fish everywhere. And I got so stressed out. Who's picking up all these fish? This is a terrible example to set for anybody. Why? Just leaving all the fish there. Pick up your fish. I mean, it's messy and it's not fair on the fish. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't know they were going to be in a Tom Cruise movie, and now they're just laying on the floor. I know these things are monitored really carefully, so the fish themselves are probably fine. They were probably robot fish, but it still just really stresses me out when you see a smashed fish tank and you never get to see the consequences of someone picking up those poor fish. So that is my very first pet peeve about animals in movies, is smashed fish tanks. My second pet peeve about animals in movies is the anthropomorphism. I know, I get it, it's cute. The animals are best friends. They're hanging out together. They're having a good time. Just chill. It just makes my teeth itch. Animals have personalities. They are cute, they can be affectionate, but they have very different personalities and they have very different relationships than we do.
But animals in movies are so cute. That snake and that cat were best friends, and when they were called up for a nap, it was so cute. You could tell they really, really like each other. What could be wrong with that?
It's usually just wrong, and at the very worst, you end up with those companies who make those viral videos by stealing other people's footage, and then they have people believing that this woman's best friend is a bee.
Okay, but for real, I saw a video on Facebook, and it had this lady, and she had, her best friend was a bee. And that is real, it was on Facebook. How could it not be?
Now that's pretty harmless, but you also end up with people putting their animals in dangerous situations, putting their reptiles together with their cats for a snuggle because they're best friends. It's just not good for either of the animals. It's stressing them out, and it's just dangerous because if one bites the other, then you're in trouble, and you may well end up with some kind of weird cat-snake hybrid. Wait, those are ferrets. Okay, I take it back. Maybe we should do this. No, it's just dangerous. We can't do that. And don't expect weird things, like snakes aren't going to come rescue you. That's not how they think. So that is my second pet peeve, is anthropomorphism of animals in movies. My third pet peeve about animals in movies is unreasonable animal swarms. Please tell me why, given unlimited options, a vast number of rats would choose to live in a very small enclosed space with 1,000 other rats in like 5 rats deep. You're like waist deep in rats. The rats don't like that. It's not normal. They don't live that way. Why are you suddenly stumbling into this enormous pit of rats? It just makes no sense. And the same goes for snakes. I know you've seen the pits of snakes. I'm looking at you, Indiana Jones. It doesn't happen. There are some very specific species of snake that do hibernate together in a big, snaky, same species pit. Big snuggle pile of snakes, completely fine. Giant noodles, who doesn't like that? But you don't get mixed species of snakes living in some kind of weird underground jungle dungeon, just all hanging out together in a massive pit. What are they going to eat? There's nothing else in there for them. They're not just going to sit and chill. And then you've got snakes that are from the jungle, and you've got desert snakes, and they're all just hanging out in one spot. It just doesn't happen. So that is my number 3 animal peeve in movies, is unreasonable swarms of animals. So what you might be thinking is my number 1 absolute worst pet peeve that winds me up in so many movies, so much so that I am really annoying to watch some movies with because I just cannot keep quiet. My number one animal movie peeve is animals in abandoned ancient tombs. Explain to me how that happens. This tomb has been locked and sealed for thousands of years. Our hero goes in there and it's full of rats or bugs or mice or snakes. How do they get in there, number one? What are they eating? There's no water in there. They're all going to be incredibly thirsty. It's just, why? So this is related to the animal swarms. You get ridiculous animal swarms and sometimes you get unreasonable animal swarms inside an ancient tomb that's thousands of years old, full of dust and dead bodies, and it's full of animals? It doesn't make any sense. So that is my number one worst animal-related movie peeve ever, is lots of animals inside an ancient dusty tomb. Looking back at you, Indiana Jones, you are coming up on my list quite a bit, and that is not okay. You keep putting all these animals in weird places where they don't belong. There was that cluster of insects, completely random insects, inside one tiny hole in the wall for that booby trap switch. Why are all those insects in there, in that tiny hole? They had a lot of other places to be, a lot of other stuff to go do. They're not all cramming together in that tiny hole. So those are my pet peeves to do with animals in movies. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check back again for more of our movie trivia.
Peace out, nerds.
Shut up and sit down.